Guess what the price of gas is here? I've seen as low as $1.69.
Wow.
Yep.
Bring me about 100 gallons back.
No.
God, I gotta hurry.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, well, we're getting ready to go live, so I'm muting out.
Muting.
Bye. You'll have to mute me.
Please remember, the views and opinions expressed by this show or any other show on DV Radio and its guests are strictly those of said individuals and do not reflect those of the DV Radio staff, nor the staff of dysfunctional veterans.
Let's get it started in here. Get this party started on a Saturday night. I'm on a highway to hell all night long.
Cause I got friends in low places where
Play that funky music, white boy. And I don't wanna miss a thing.
Online and on the go on your mobile device.
Listeners' discretion is advised.
This is Barracks Talk. It's DV Radio.
Google broke the toilet.
But I think I just broke my desk.
Tonight, Google is planning on taking over the world.
You can dip Brussels sprouts in chocolate to make them look like cake pops.
$15 is a little steep for a bag of dicks. It should be like $14.99.
I'm pretty easy to please.
Not even want to touch it as much as I want to.
Are you sure?
And we just went there.
Boom, 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 boom.
Because this is how it is on DV Radio. Oh. Yeah, you listen to the podcast there, young man.
You're tuned in to WDVR on DVRadio.net or by searching DV Radio on your TuneIn app on your favorite mobile device.
Because this is how it is on DV Radio.
That is how it is right here on Barracks Talk Live, where you're listening to us on podcast on DVRadio.net, WDVR. I'm Butterwood. We got DV6 is still on his little trip. We got Recoil tonight, Google, and of course, we've got Oink. How's everybody doing tonight? And yes, 6, you're unmuted.
His little trip?
My little trip. Thank you for not calling it a vacation like Google.
Take a little trip. Take a little trip, AC.
Oh,
You
me.
are
How's...
definitely not going to get deported. Or you should. Never mind.
How you guys doing this evening?
Oh, fantastic.
I believe
Aw,
it's
fantastic.
January 26, 2019, so we made it.
Happy birthday.
Okay. We made it a full month into the new year, so we're doing good.
What?
Doing good.
Damn, it's probably warmer over here in Alaska than it is in the lower 48 right now.
Yeah, apparently you were wearing summer clothes the other night. It was like 40 degrees up there.
Yes, sir, I was.
I was trying to explain to the folks down here that 30s and 40s for us is like t-shirt and shorts weather, you know? And they're like, you're crazy. They're all bundled up with heavy coats down here. I'm like, this is nice. And then they yell at me because we go to these places where you can sit outside. And I'm like, it's beautiful. It's too cold. We got to eat inside. I'm like, it's only 45. That's a heat wave to us. Right, Oink?
Heck yeah.
Shit, dude, it gets like 25 here and I'm sweating, so.
Yeah, they don't like that joke here where I don't see no horns on your head. Yeah, so I'm not doing that. So, yeah, I got my ass kicked. No, listen, so, hey, just FYI, hey, if you haven't yet already, and if you can't, you know, if you want to help, like and share that post about the homeless winter survival kits. You know, help us get the word out, save on advertising. I hear the campaign is doing well. This past week, the DB store did offer up gift cards to anybody that purchased one as a thank you. Stay tuned to the page, and stuff like that can happen. There's also, let me pull this up I have an announcement. A, B, C, D, E, F. There it is. Okay.
You know the alphabet.
Alright, so the DB Bachelor Bet contest is live. We've gotten hundreds and hundreds of entries so far. Ladies can still enter until February 6th. Criteria is you've got to be a veteran, you have to be single, and you got to have boobs in the vagina. Alright? That's the rules. I don't make them, I just enforce them. The rest of you can vote as often as once a day. The winner will be announced on VD Day. That's Valentine's Day, not Venereal Disease Day. But if you don't wrap it, you will get VD. And the winner will get $1,000. Not to the DB store. You can go to any store you want. These are real hard freaking cash. Go to mydbstore.com and click the banner on the top of the page.
Is it hard cash or hard numbers in a digital format in your bank account?
That's $1,000 check.
Again, is it hard cash or is it hard?
So enter the Bachelor Bet
$1,000 in
contest.
Bitcoin.
Don't confuse the listeners. God, this is CNN. What else is going on? All right, you guys may have heard about the homeless veteran in Tulsa who froze to death earlier this week. That's why we're trying to help homeless vets stay warm with the DV Winter Survival Bags. We put 1,000 together back in the fall. Now we're hoping to do another 1,000 by Valentine's Day. We need your help to make it happen. You can make a pledge at mydbstore.com, and when you pledge before midnight tonight, that's gone. That's old. And if you get it for midnight tonight, then you bought one today and not tomorrow. There.
Is that how it works?
It is, in fact.
Yes, my location is. I'm getting cryptic phone calls. I hear you're in San Antonio. Well, technically, yeah, I'm in that area. So, I was going to do a little get-together, but it just, I ain't feeling it. I'm just not very people-y right now. You know?
Are you ever?
I was about to say that sounds like all of us all the time.
Next up is the place where Scout died. Waurika, Oklahoma. Yeah, that's my next stop. Then I'll start announcing, after that one, then on the way, motion back to the Super Bowl. Well, the Super Bowl this year decided to give all veteran-owned T-shirt company CEOs, that haven't gone out of business 5 times already, free tickets to the Super Bowl. I lied.
No.
Yeah. Well,
I had no idea.
I miss you too. I miss your sarcasm in person. You just seem so much happier since I left.
Oh yeah. So much
Excuse me, I know you missed those too from her.
Yeah, I called the farm office. And the farm manager answered, and I says, "Hey, is Google around?" And right as I said that, I heard, "Brrrr." I'm like, "Yep, that's my girl. She's there."
Yep.
On speaker already. What else is going on? Well, I'm sure that Google and Oink and Recoil and Bo will cover all the news this week. Holy crap! All kinds of crazy stuff going on. That's why I don't jump. Again, I've said it before. We're just a social media page, and we're much more than that. But before anything goes up on there, I like to get all the facts. And these major media companies, if it fits their narrative, white people, Native American, whatever, let's just run with it. Let's not wait for the facts.
Right. That shit drives me nuts. But don't worry. That guy, did you hear he was a recon ranger?
Yeah, yeah. And
he lived a life of danger.
In Vietnam.
They used his teeth to teach simple math. 2 + 2 equals, and they show his 4 teeth.
Well, I got to bring up one of my favorite people to watch on YouTube, and I know he's known across the internet as the guy that catches the frauds. But Don Shipley done a couple YouTube videos on him, And of course, he tells everybody, look, he wasn't a recon ranger, he was a fridge mechanic, and he never went to Vietnam, all this stuff.
Right.
Well, he had to make a second video. So in the first video, he starts the video off with a Smirnoff plastic bottle in his hand and a spoon, and he starts beating on it, going hey-oh, right? so the second video, he goes, I'm sorry if I offended everybody. You know, I had a Jack Daniels bottle, but it just didn't sound right. I was like, this is the best thing ever.
I'm surprised that YouTube left it up.
Well, YouTube is probably going to take it down soon. Sorry, Six.
And no, you're fine. And it's funny, you know, where all the death threats from celebrities, comedians, reporters even, about, you know, high school kids. You know, get me their addresses. First one that punches them. These were on Twitter.
Yeah.
That didn't violate Twitter's policy.
Well, he has a very punchable face.
Listen, my point, it doesn't violate Twitter's policy.
I forget who tweeted that.
I know a lot of people that have punchable faces.
Yeah. If only I could reach them.
I mean,
all right, but this goes
on Tuesday,
to...
they had to close the fucking school because of all the threats that were being received.
Yeah.
And because there were going to be 2 protests at the school, which one of those protests, they moved their location to the diocese. Because the school was closed. And then on Wednesday, when the school opened, they had the fucking cops there to make sure nothing happened.
Yeah, fucking cops. So Twitter didn't violate any of Twitter's policies. Let me finish. Right? All the death threats, they're still up. And then when the news came out, the posts are still not deleted, even though it's false information. Now, why do I tell you this? Because even on Facebook, now, if we had gone against, you know, followed their narrative, and said all that, we probably wouldn't have gotten banned if I said, hey, let's kill this kid and all that. But if I put up any memes in support of him, we get banned like that. That's why you haven't seen a whole lot on our social media pages.
Hey, DB6, I've got to say something about some of these articles that came out about that before all the news broke that they didn't do anything. The kids really didn't do anything. There have been a few news articles that have posted updates at the end of the articles, and it says the alleged child has, or something like that, allegedly has done nothing in the wrong. And they keep saying allegedly. They won't say he has done nothing wrong, and there's no, linked sources or anything. So,
well, it's very intimidating to be stared down by a kid.
Yeah, Mark stayed from the Smirk today. I seen those posts. That's pretty funny. Then you have the white kid.
Face.
You guys can talk about that in your news segment. So then in the other news, DV made the news twice this week. One about the schools, or not the school, the kid that shot up the bank or the gas station or something.
Yep.
In Florida. Yep. Well, they made sure to mention that he follows people like InfoWars and Milo. I can't pronounce his
Yiannopoulos.
Yiannopoulos, yeah.
Annapolis, Maryland. And also there's no mention that he's a veteran, but he follows the Dysfunctional Veterans page. Then they go on to devote a whole paragraph to us.
2.
And even describes. All right, Bo, you've seen up to 2 paragraphs. When I said, we got a whole paragraph in a news story about a kid that killed 4 people. And they're talking about DV and the memes we post. And he even posted some of the reviews we got, which were pretty good.
Yeah.
But talk about trying to paint a picture. And then, I woke up that morning after hearing all that stuff and seeing that we were mentioning all these news sites. The podcast from the news article I did with that radio, connectingvetsradio.com website, news agency, they published their interview, the verbal one, or whatever you want to call it, the podcast.
We've got the soundbite for tonight.
Together an interview. So Bo will play that. It's really, really good. It's, it seems like the smaller the news organizations, the better the work is. This has got to be one of the most better interviews, and we had a good time doing it. And at the end, be sure you listen to its entirety. Don't go get coffee or anything, because they put together a blooper reel, I guess, with me yelling at the bird because they cut it all out during the interview so that I sounded sane. But there were a couple of times in there where I flipped out on the bird and threatened her. And so stand by, PETA. So when are you gonna play that, Bo? The interview?
That'll be in the second part of the show.
Oh, I'm gonna miss it.
Let's see. This is what happens when you and Recoil don't take your blue pills.
Google's down up in New Hampshire. No good to take a blue one down here.
Excuses.
And the blue pill I take is for acid reflux.
Right.
But that's all. Did I miss anything?
Not to my knowledge off the top of my head.
Damn, I still got 7 minutes.
Other than we still need lumber at the farm.
Well, donations. Thank you, everybody, for the birthday fundraisers. Don't forget to use smile.amazon.com. We're not federally state funded.
Have you done your birthday fundraiser yet, Six?
No, I didn't.
It's not too late. It's still the month of.
No, it's not. I know.
Better get on that.
I'll get on it. But that's it. That's all I got. I shot my load. Am I free to go?
Yes, you are.
All right, I'll listen. I'll stay on until I lose the signal. How about that?
You sure you want to stay on?
Asshole, dude.
Bo, in the pre-show, he did it to himself.
Yeah, I had to step back and take some time and do some stuff. But yeah, that's 6 for you. Fucking him own self.
Did we start on time?
Yes, actually, we did.
Great. Let me buckle up without killing the bird.
Speaking of phenomena, go ahead.
I was gonna say. So when you say the second part of the show, is that after 9? Is that at 9:30?
That's around 9:40, give or take.
Oh, I'll still be here. I'll stay on the air. I want to hear it.
Okay. So speaking of phenomena, my other favorite jingle to play for Google is
Baby shark, baby shark, baby shark.
If you have any kids that know about this YouTube sensation, you might not want them to get on Netflix ever again because Netflix apparently is coming out with a Baby Shark television series. So, yeah.
Well, that's kind of pushing it.
Yeah.
Thank you for that information. I'll make sure to block that.
Yeah, right?
Oh my god.
Ooh, Baby Shark is very, very popular. We need to make a television show. That's like fucking Teletubbies.
Monster truck, vroom, 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 monster.
I mean, I'm guessing that the Baby Shark and stuff will be a little bit more informative than Teletubbies. But...
Actually, I have seen some of the Baby Shark stuff just to get acquainted with it because of various reasons. But it seems to be educational to a point for this generation that's coming up. Like, we had Sesame Street and stuff like that. These kids have Baby Shark.
So, definitely more informative than Teletubbies.
Way more informative than Teletubbies. I think Teletubbies was just a fucking distraction.
God. Oh my god. I'm like, how can a kid watch this? Like, I understand, but they're not even saying anything.
What wasn't that a German-based show to begin with?
I don't know.
I think it was some part of Europe. I can't remember.
Now I get the Hitler references.
Yeah.
Oh!
Yeah.
And they do a lot of that.
Yep. During the show, they'd be like, oh, shit like that. Yeah. And
why are you barking, Storm?
But I you can see the German influence when they go into like their homes and shit. It's hilarious. But yeah. So yeah, if you've got kids and they use Netflix, you might want to take their account off or just not let them use Netflix anymore if you don't like Baby Shark.
Let the haters find out.
Oh.
Come on, you can go a little slower.
What? Oh, Oh, he's leaving.
His car.
He's leaving.
No, I'm on the road. I'm block away, and this guy got no lights on.
So DB6 in San Antonio is currently
Breaking the law.
just saying.
I'm at the hostage holdout. It's a bunch of Middle Eastern people. They seem okay. And they're not doing suicide bombings.
Well, Google has had to step away to see what Storm's barking at.
Alright, I'll be right back. Well, I'm right here, though. I can still hear.
So, Oink, how was your week of work?
It was actually pretty decent. Like I said, it was in the 40s for a couple of the days anyway, and then mid to lower 30s. So there wasn't a whole lot of work actually to be done. There's a lot of downtime per se.
Oh, really?
Not for a government employee though. You know that would never happen.
Right.
But other than that, no, it was a pretty relaxed week.
And so you told me that you guys have like, what is it, an hour or 2 hour overlay with the last shift that comes on?
About 3 hours actually.
3 hours.
Like
okay.
Yeah, it's ungodly. The worst 3 hours of my life.
I can't even imagine that. I remember when I was working at McDonald's, and before I switched to morning shift, I worked night shift, and we would come in about 2 o'clock. Well, early shift usually didn't get off until 3:30, 4 o'clock. It was the worst fucking time to be in that store. Like, between chaos and people bitching and people coming in, you know, for lunch and tours because it's fucking Mayberry, they can go fuck themselves. Like, I lost my shit, so I sort of feel you on that. It didn't bother me when I changed to a morning shift because I was leaving. I didn't give a fuck. I do not miss that place one bit at all.
No. And it doesn't help when you got guys that's been there doing the same job for 20-some plus years, and, you know, I'm sure the aircraft has changed in that time, and they don't have propellers anymore, and, you know, so, yeah, they're a little set in their ways, needless to say, and then when you're sitting there staring at each other for 3 hours because the temperature's above, you know, freezing, it gets a little old after a while.
You get some crusty old dude out there trying to stretch canvas on the wing.
Pretty much.
Oh, we just went there. We just fucking went there. Just so everybody is aware, you did not miss the new Marquee 3030 tonight because there wasn't a brand new Marquee 3030. So you can go bitch at him on DV Marquee on the Facebook page.
There wasn't? What the fuck?
Yeah. He got attacked by killer tomatoes.
Well, he was on a roll 3 weeks in a row, and then this week, I should have known. Just like a man of stature like him, bailing out on us on the last week. Oh, man.
Who's that, Marquee?
Yes, that's Marquee. No, it's Recoil.
Oh, he bailed out too?
Yeah, give me time.
He's getting old. Everybody's getting old.
Don't out fucking know it. But
Pretty soon we'll go from dysfunctional veterans to crusty old veterans.
Right.
Bo's the baby.
Bo's the baby, that's right. You got a few more years with me.
Maybe the dingo ate your baby.
I'm home.
Aww.
At the homestead.
We'll make sure you go snuggle in real close to your pillow.
If my transmission starts fucking up, let me know and I'll hang up. But I'm gonna stay on for a little bit.
I'm not going to say what came to mind.
So Six is running around Texas yelling to everybody, "I don't see no horns on you."
Jesus, it's over there.
You're one of them there northern Yankees, ain't you, boy? Get on up over here. I want to show you something.
You look mighty fine. You look mighty fine in them blue jeans. They do wear cowboy hats down here, though. Notice that. Thanks, Bo.
You're welcome.
I me in my fucking head now.
You're welcome. I know you love it. You're so
Man,
excited.
How fast it hits me, like, as soon as I eat. I'm going to leave those cookies in the truck, because I eat a ton of them while I'm sleeping. Fuck that. They're staying in there.
You eat a ton of them while you're sleeping.
Yup. Don't ask me how. I get up in the morning, the thing's fucking getting lighter.
You sure Huey isn't eating them?
She goes to bed before me.
Oh, yeah, that means a lot.
Well, she's locked in. Well, not really. She can get out.
So, tomorrow night, go ahead, Recoil. Okay, don't go ahead. Tomorrow night is the Service Dog Show with PTSDog, also known as Joaquin Watai. He talks with the founder, the licensed clinical social worker, as well as the communications director of K9 Partners for Patriots, Inc., about their service dog training program and about the evidence-based study they're conducting to prove the efficacy of cooperatively training your service dog to assist with PTSD. Again, that's the Service Dog Show with PTSDog tomorrow night, January 27th at 2000, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on dvradio.net or by searching DV Radio on your TuneIn app. It's a really good interview. It's really touching what they have done, what they're doing, what they've helped some vets with. Some of the stories that they tell on there it's quite enlightening for what size. I believe they're a nonprofit organization. Don't hold me to that, but either way, what they've done in the past and what they are doing is just. It's like, really, you guys were able to do that. So.
Phenomenal. I was being serious.
Okay.
Won't you start, Martha?
You want to try that again there, Michael?
That's who you sounded like. God, you too. Come on, Huey, climb out. Time to go in your bed. Come on. I don't want to. It's warm in this hoodie.
Oh my God.
Fine, stay there.
We need to get you one of those breast things where you can put over your shoulders and wear like men do to breastfeed their kids when their mom's not around.
A hijab? A
No,
hijab for your boobies?
It's not a hijab. It's some kind of rubber material. It's not silicon. It's not silicon. I know that.
Did you hear about the teenager who identifies as a female who won? Or no, it was not the teenager. He asked, when does he get his period? Because all the other girls got it. And then in Britain, this was reported by the Daily Sun, they're wasting money and time and doctors' resources for transgender men to get cervix examinations and pap smears and to get their boobs x-rayed for breast cancer.
because that's what's really needed.
Yeah. Men can get breast cancer. It's the cervix one. You don't have a cervix. So it's biology. But they're gonna make them.
But they just stick their finger up your ass instead.
I guess they want to be treated just like other women.
Ma'am, your prostate's a little swollen.
And we just alienated. Anyhow.
He's still singing it. Oh, me. Yeah, we do have some stuff to get out in the second break. Like Six said, we do have the Connecting Vets interview. It's about 11 minutes long. 12 minutes, actually. And
tell us what you think about it. Leave a comment.
Oh, jeez.
And
Since you're playing it during the break, I guess I can't.
I didn't say during the break, did I? I said when we come back from the break.
Hour.
Oh my God.
I know.
Wanted her on.
Actually, it would be the second half hour because these are chopped up into about 30 minutes.
Come on. Don't.
Well, if you look at the itinerary, see, it says 9:02 to 9:30. Then it says 9:40 to 10:25.
Everybody's waiting for it. Come on.
What do you mean everybody's waiting for it? You're waiting for it. You don't want to leave until it's late. Just
Get
a minute.
bird again, so I can go to bed happy.
What? Okay, I'm going to mute 6 out so I can get this next part out. We do need to take a break. We'll come back. We'll let DV6 introduce you to his 12-minute interview from connectingvets.radio.com that he done this past week, I'm assuming. And then you can tell us your thoughts. You're listening to Barracks Talk right here on dvradio.net, WDVR.
DV Radio.
This week on the SOSRA Show with PTSDog, I talk with Greg Laskowski, Denny Brown, and Mary Peter of Canine Partners for Patriots Incorporated.
But when you come into the training center itself, over both doors, there's a sign that says, "Through these doors lies hope and healing."
About their evidence-based study on the efficacy of cooperative training of a service dog for veterans with PTSD. That's the Service Dog Show with PTSDog right here on DV Radio, WDVR.
You're listening to WDVR, only on dvradio.net.
That's right, you are listening to DV Radio on dvradio.net on Barracks Talk on your podcast because it's no longer live. Anyway, Bonerwood, we got DV6, Recoil, Google, and Oinko tonight. How is everybody?
Yay!
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, I was sitting here and I kept hearing a lot of movement, and I'm like, somebody's not muted. And Recoil has a mute button on his headset, just like I do. I'm sitting here and I'm like, nobody's popping up. It's just DV Radio, LLC. So I asked Recoil, I'm like, are you not muted? He never answers me. And then I'm watching the mics on here because it shows mic level when you talk. He moves his entire mic and headset, and I hear shh, and his mic fucking just redlined. I was like, yep, it's you, Recoil.
I wasn't even in the room, so that must have been Tasha.
It was. It must have been.
It's probably the noise you were hearing. She's probably licking the fucking microphone.
that or a snatch.
We're gonna go late tonight.
No. What? Why would that happen?
Because there's so much to talk about.
Oh, yeah, so fucking much to talk about. Anyway, DV6, you want to introduce us to your interview, and then we'll play it, and then we'll come back?
I can do it. You listen to DVR, DV Radio, or DV Radio and WDVR. No, this is the interview. Enjoy it.
Okay, here we go. I got to mute you. Sorry.
DV Radio.
Next on the show, my fellow reporter, Kayla Jackson. How are you?
I'm doing good, Phil. How are you?
Really good. And I want to get into an article that ran on connectingvets.com earlier this week about a farm. But on this farm, they don't grow corn or turnips. I don't even know if they grow turnips on but you know what I'm saying? Like,
You're right.
It's not traditional farming. And we shared an interview with a gentleman from New Hampshire that was arguably one of the most interesting interviews I've ever sat through. Talk to me about this farm and how it's affecting veterans.
Definitely. I would agree. The most interesting person I have ever virtually met on the phone. Michael Rivers, an Army vet, a great guy with quite an interesting story. He is the man behind, if you've heard of it, I'm sure you have, Dysfunctional Veterans, a Facebook page. Millions of people have clicked on it. Funny memes, dark humor.
My name's Michael Rivers, and I run the DV organization. No official title. I get called many things, but I don't think it can go on the air.
Not many people know this, but he actually started a therapeutic farm for veterans who are on the road to recovery from homelessness and drug addiction.
Wait, the Facebook page, which features memes that say things like, "It's strange to work in a hospital." You know, in one room, there's a father holding his son for the first time. In another room, there's a son holding his father for the last time. And then in another room, there's a guy with a remote stuck in his anus. It's the circle of life.
Exactly. That same guy, the same guy, is also helping veterans basically get back their lives together from living on the street and living off drugs. So he has quite a life here.
Talk to me about your takeaways from our conversation.
It's interesting just to hear, listening to Michael talk about his personal life, also a formlessly homeless veteran. He has his own experiences and has his own experience with drugs and alcohol and had really a tough time transitioning out of the Army. He actually linked up with a therapeutic farm himself. That was part of his recovery experience. It was recommended to him through a local VA. He went through the program. It was a big turning point for him. And eventually, for him, it was just one day. This worked for me. Maybe it'll work for other guys.
I went to this one VA when I was living on the streets, and they convinced me to try this program in a rural setting with animals and horses and other veterans. And that's where my life kind of changed. I started helping other vets, even though I was a homeless vet living with 18 other guys. But it was called Victory Farm, and it's based off of and this is what I based DV Farm off of.
They're a group of veterans, 5 guys living on this farm in this house, and they're in charge of tilling the land. They've got construction projects, raising chickens. And they're doing it, and they're getting their life together. In addition to that, they have AA meetings that they go to. They're linked with someone at the VA so they can get those services, but they're really out by themselves. Like I said, rebuilding their life and learning how to take responsibility for themselves again.
He also had one other thing that went on through the entire interview. Tell me about that.
Yeah. So Michael, he also has a pet parrot, which is interesting. I don't know how parrots go on farms. I don't understand how that works. But the parrot, Huey, had quite a lot to say during the interview.
I'm going to kill you. Stop. Even though I was a homeless vet living with 18 other guys, Huey, you're adopted. That usually shuts her up.
I love it, buddy.
She's laughing. Come here. You think it's funny? She's laughing. She does this when I get on the phone.
That was so funny every time the parrot chirped. I don't know. It just makes me want to go to this farm. What do you think, Kayla?
This farming thing just seems to be a reoccurring theme, a recurring way for veterans to piece their lives back together. And it's amazing to see. And it's going to be great to see, how the DV farm grows. And hopefully it does grow in the future.
Well, as long as they keep making that Facebook page, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of what he's doing. And yeah, you're totally right. I think the VA does need to pay some attention and really focus on the experiential side of therapy, because it is not always at the bottom of a bottle or a prescription or a therapy session with somebody with a, fancy degree on the wall. Sometimes it's just getting your hands down in the dirt. And right there, all those combined experiences together on that New Hampshire farm. They heal mind, body, and soul. Kayla Jackson, always interesting reporting. Find another guy like this, because this interview was great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Now, where can I find this full article and more about the DV farm?
Dysfunctional Veterans. It's not just a funny Facebook page. It saves veterans' lives.
All right. And that article is always on connectingvets.com.
Radio.
So yeah, you heard an interview with DV6 and another veteran website that actually it's a different perspective than everybody else that's come to us. So it was nice to hear that. It's not like a real
radio station.
Sorry that we don't have a studio like they do, and we're not all living in the same city.
But they cut that up pretty good, and that fucking bird, holy shit.
Yep. So those listening on podcasts, that will be cut down for you. So you do need to go and find that article over there. The link will be in the description of the podcast. Let us know what you think about it. Let them know your feedback as well. Thank you, Connecting Vets, for that interview and both of those articles. They were beautiful. So,
awesome.
So yeah, yesterday we heard that President Donald Trump of the United States of America, he's your president too, signed a, what is it called? A
continuing resolution.
yes, a continuing resolution for 3 more weeks, for 3 weeks, I should say, and it's quote-unquote pausing the government shutdown. Funny thing, I also got a phone call yesterday about the room that the VA is supposed to be building me. They actually approved it. And so within 3 weeks, we should be able to start breaking ground and actually building that. So I know everybody's been asking about that lately that listens to us, and I thought I'd let you all know. So hopefully in 3 weeks, by Valentine's Day, they will start that. So that's the update on the VA room.
As long
The
as
day of love.
I couldn't hear Google because DB6 was moving his tablet.
I said as long as the government stays open. I mean, is that one of their conditions?
Right. Well,
Don't jinx it.
Yeah, that's one maneuver that was smart on Trump's part, because I mean a lot of people were saying he was caving, but
yeah,
I mean, all honesty, that allows for 2 paychecks for federal workers, plus they can file their taxes
right
before the government shuts down again.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of articles saying Trump caved, and then I think it was on Twitter. The trending topic was Trump caves, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, I don't really think he caved. I think it was a smart move on his part because
it's
the
negotiation
federal workers were the ones
101.
suffering.
Yeah, it's negotiation 101. You don't ever cave, and you don't ever give in. And he didn't give in. He got pretty much what he wanted them to say and what he wanted them to agree to, and they're writing it up. So hopefully, all goes well. But it's enough politics for me right now.
Don't forget, right after Trump made the statement, the Democrats came out and they're like, "We're not doing anything for the wall."
Right. Yeah.
I mean, so I mean, and we knew that was going to happen anyway because Pelosi had been flat out asked.
Yeah.
But I think it was a good choice on his part too. I mean, especially with the Super Bowl. Now the Democrats can't postpone that.
We're sinking. We're not going to spend any money to fix the hole in the boat, so we win.
Right?
Yeah.
But I mean, what was it? LaGuardia Airport pretty much shut down yesterday because there were not enough TSA workers. They're all calling out sick because they're not getting paid, which I get it. I mean, it's kind of shitty for the rest of the world. They had to shut down the airport for safety reasons.
What I find funny is all these people that are bitching that didn't get paid are probably, and more than likely, and almost 99% of them are the ones that say, "I love my job. I'd do it for free if I could." I guarantee you, that's the same people that are fucking
That's
bitching
the
right
guy
now.
in the Coast Guard.
I mean, I hate to see anybody have to go without pay, but
yeah,
when you're a federal worker, you're already overpaid and overbenefited.
Oh,
compared
most
to the
definitely.
civilian sector.
Most definitely.
What?
And they bitch way more than any of us could ever think about.
Well, no, it's not just that. It's, when you're a federal worker, you are aware that if there is a government shutdown, you are probably not going to get paid.
Well, they need to do away with the whole being able to shut down the government. It should continue on a previous budget until they can come up with something.
I'm like Recoil. I thought that years ago.
They should be forced to stay in session until. It's like the fucking one major job they have to do. They have 2 jobs. The federal government has 2 jobs: to keep the American people safe and to set our fiscal fucking budget. Other than that, they have nothing else that they're even supposed to.
They also pass laws and shit, and Congress is supposed to control the purse string. That's the whole checks and balances. There's a disagreement.
You have 1 job.
They got 3, but.
Yeah, but on the flip side of that, though, too, for those federal employees that weren't getting so-called pay, they're getting all that back pay, so they had a 30-day paid vacation. I mean, I wish I was one of them.
Chambers.
Just kidding.
Don't forget the other 3 chambers too that Cortez mentioned. So there's actually 6. The 3 branches of government and the 3 chambers of government.
The 3 chambers of government. She also says that the world is going to end in 12 years because of global warming, and this is our World War II.
Well, has she been inaugurated yet?
Giving blondes a run for their money.
Oh, man.
Holy
Just think, in 9 years, she could be your next president.
Woohoo!
Well, you
Probably
know,
will.
she did come out and state that there's nothing in the Constitution that states that women have to be 35 to be able to run for president, because at the time the Constitution was written, it was only men that were in government anyway. So therefore, by her reasoning, she could run for president right now. I'm serious. Like, that's just like she wants to raise taxes to 70%. Oh, good idea, Miss Economics major.
Fucking commie.
Oh, man. But yeah, the world is going to end in 12 years. So I don't know why everyone's so worried about about this wall that they don't want built. I mean, the world's going to end anyway. Just give him what he wants.
Oh my god. Neil,
well, it could be worse. I mean, you know, President Trump could get impeached, and Pence would go with him, and that makes Nancy Pelosi your next president.
Oh,
you know,
no, don't even threaten us like that.
I'm leaving the country if that happens. I'm moving to Canada.
You know what's interesting? One of my friends, one of the guys that I served with, actually, he sent me a video yesterday outlining like how the whole month of January has gone. All right. And in the video, the whole timeline goes that Pelosi was supposed to fly out, obviously, to across the world. And the same day that she was supposed to fly out was supposed to be the hit on the White House. Remember that guy earlier this week? He got arrested for threatening to blow up the White House or hitting it with an AK-47 or whatever, a rocket launcher.
Oh,
I can't remember what he.
So are we talking conspiracy theories now?
Well, I mean, it's just interesting how she's supposed to leave the country the same, same day that there's an attack planned on the White House.
Yeah, it's an AT-4, not an AK-47.
Whatever, that's why I said I didn't really pay attention to the type of weapon. Jeez.
You say rocket launcher.
Well, whatever they were.
Anyhow.
But no, I don't live in conspiracy theory world.
I'm going to let you guys go because there's only 12 years left and I want to get some sleep.
Well, it was nice having you on longer than 12 minutes tonight.
Woohoo!
Keep up the good work. Make sure you make everybody happy and smile. Don't do too much offending people. You fucking suck! You suck! Fucking
That's
bastards.
offensive!
But he was singing, Baby
He
Shark
left.
earlier.
He fucking left.
I think you offended him, Bo. And he just said, don't offend people.
Triggered.
Oh, your Make America Great Again hat triggers me.
Oh, I wish that I had the guy from Mortal Kombat that goes, finish him, to say, triggered.
People should start getting MAGA tattooed onto their foreheads.
Yeah, right? Oh, man. Everyone's fucking triggered over stupid shit. Oh, my God,
When
I'm
some
so
high
offended.
When some high school kid scares a wind talker.
You know, I hate how people just jump on a fucking bandwagon. It's like, he attacked that man. He was very aggressive. I'm like, the kid was standing there doing nothing.
In the meantime, there's some crusty old Skeletor-looking motherfucker beating a goddamn drum in the kid's face.
Right.
Hey. And I have the right to make fun of Native Americans. I have that blood. Okay.
Just remember, he was a recon ranger. Really, a recon refrigerator.
Live the life of danger.
So AWOL 3 times.
So you
Oh
got
my
to think
God.
about it. You
We
got to
had a
think
arrest
about it. When I first seen that video, I was thinking to myself, I was like, he was being a kid. He was doing what most kids do, going along with whatever's happening, you know. And then I seen the 2-hour fucking video of what actually happened. I was like, the crowd done what any fucking crowd would do. They opened up, the guy started walking in, and they closed around him just like any fucking crowd in the fucking world would have done at any other fucking event. That's it.
There was some
Oh.
giant group of racist black people.
Black Israelites, or however the fuck they say it.
Oh man.
So what?
Yeah, the black Israeli is yeah.
Yeah, see, it's not that easy to say.
Are they Jews?
They're Israel.
Well-
Look up Israeli. Fuck.
Them guys.
Those motherfuckers. Black Israelites. That's how you say it. Black Israelites.
So and then somehow out of all this, some Native American dude becomes offended.
Right. Exactly.
What I
Because he felt
loved is when he was
by
on the
by
Today
kids
Show.
standing there.
What I loved about him being on the Today Show, he's like, I felt very threatened, and I knew that by the look on his face that anything could happen at any moment to me, but I stood my ground. And I'm like, dude, the kid was smiling because you were pointing him out, essentially, by coming up to him.
So you felt so threatened, you figured you would get right in his face and start banging a drum.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Exactly. Like, I hate...
Well, this is not the first time that guy has caused trouble. And you guys saw, right? After this whole thing went down with the kid, and he didn't get the reaction that he wanted, then he tried to disrupt a church service.
Mm-hmm. He's been doing this for years. Yeah, the guy's been doing this for years. He's just wanting attention.
Yeah.
But anyway, if you want to get away from political bullshit, actually,
stay off Facebook. Get
Right.
banned from Facebook.
Oh, man. And your problem is...
But I'm offended.
right?
Yeah, right?
So that reminds me, for the 9 o'clock radio post tonight, and actually for both posts today, for Barracks Talk tonight, I was like, you know what? People are always saying, who cares and shit when I put up a Barracks Talk post. So 5 hours ago at around 16:41, I said, we're supposed to have a live show tonight, and some stuff is supposed to be said about something from some idiot that thinks they matter. So you can listen to these ramblings beginning at 2100 9 p.m. Eastern Time on your computer and mobile devices. It's up to you. No one is forcing you to do anything. So I put up the 5-minute post, 8:55, and said, remember when we said someone whom they think matters was going to say some stuff about some stuff? It's happening in 5 minutes. You can choose to listen or watch something that you can probably watch tomorrow at noon, because that's how networks work. Either way, it's there for you if you wish to listen and chat in the chat room. And I was like, I'm going to be waiting for some dick bag to try and be an asshole on there. Oddly enough, no one has said anything negative yet. I guess they were like, that guy called me out on my bullshit. Like, one person has commented and said, saving link until I'm sober to really read and follow instructions, but interested. And then another person said, that was a great piece. Thank you for sharing DB6. And that was referring to the Connecting Vets article. So that's all that's been said on there. So I called them on their bullshit. Yeah, it was. It was. So,
people don't like it when we call them on their bullshit.
Oh, I know. They hate it. They hate it.
Then they go and cry about it. And then we're like, and you want us to do what?
Keyboard warrior, where have you been? Around the world and back again. Recoil, how's your week been? How's your last 2 weeks been, I should say, since you weren't on last week?
Right, insane like all the previous ones.
Insane in the membrane.
I was just thinking that.
We always do that. I don't care what we're talking about. When somebody says insane between us, we do the insane in the membrane.
Insane, got the brain.
Yeah, I told all the listeners last week you had full permission for me to take the night off because, obviously, the birthday.
Great.
Was that fun?
Celebrating the day of my wife's birth. We watched videos of it. Oh, wait.
God.
TMI.
Not sure I would want to see that.
Well, that means she's young then, right? Because, you know.
Oh, my God. Holy fuck. No,
well,
man.
I mean, you know, cameras haven't been around, handheld, smaller cameras for personal use, not been around for a while. Or, you know.
Here's a Super 8 of your birth.
Well, you know, that at that way back then, it was still allowed to be recorded. Nowadays, it's like, we can't have you record this because there will be a lawsuit.
Yeah, we dropped your kid. We don't want that on tape.
Why does little Johnny have a flat head? Well,
he had an accident.
I was just getting ready to say Recoil probably had to get the reel out, and she had to make some sound effects while it played, going.
All right, honey, we're gonna sit down and watch the flicker.
When I was in high school, I was in ROTC, and my lieutenant colonel that ran the program, he had a old reel projector, and he would play that son of a bitch, and he would walk out of the room and forget how long the film was, and forget to turn it off, and come back and turn it off, and that damn film went blah 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 blah. After it quit playing, it got so fucking annoying. It's like, oh my God. Then I learned how to turn it off because it got really annoying.
Did you rip the cord out of the wall?
No, oddly enough, I was pretty nice. He was a cool dude. Lieutenant Colonel Carl Casson. Love that old man. Yeah, he was in Vietnam. This man is terrified. I mean, absolutely motherfucking unequivocally terrified of heights. Guess what he done in Vietnam? He was in the Air Force and flew a fucking B-52.
He was a bomber pilot.
Right. But he hates fucking heights.
Probably because he knows what happens when you drop big shit from those heights.
Well, he told us a story when he was in Vietnam and they had to go on one of these long flights. They would have fighter jets, escort them in certain areas. And he said they were on like a 4-hour escort, 2 or 4 hour escort, or some bullshit. And said the fighter pilots were trying to be all fancy and shit, and were doing like loops and fucking barrel rolls across the B-52 and shit. And was like, hey, watch this and all. So Colonel Casson goes, hey, watch this. And you can't see anything in a B-52 if you guys don't know. All you can see is the pilot when you're beside them. So he said, all right, I'm finished. After he comes back for like 5 minutes, he's gone and comes back. And the fighter pilot was like, what'd you do? He said, oh, I went, got me a meal, put it in the microwave, used the bathroom, got my microwave meal, and I'm sitting here eating it now. And that guy was so pissed off because they're in a fighter jet, all scrunched up, having to piss on themselves, can't eat, can't drink. He was like, yeah, I'll show you this motherfucker. Him and his little fancy moves. Anyway.
Using the toaster oven, don't mind me.
Right. I think the only bad part about a fucking bomber, though, is you got a 5-gallon bucket you gotta use. There's no actual toilet in those old motherfuckers. To my knowledge, anyway. Those motherfuckers are huge. Have you ever seen one in person? Anybody besides Oink?
They actually use them now, the old ones, for, well, they did. I don't want to say they won't use them anymore, but we used to have a couple of them on the back of our trucks for FOD containers.
Those motherfuckers are honestly... How big are B-52s exactly?
Big.
Big. They are. I mean, they're fucking humongous, are they not? Like, I've seen big planes, and I've seen a lot of shit. But B-52s still take the cake.
How big are the B-52s? Well, they're a very popular band.
I don't know why, but every time I hear somebody talk about the band, I think of bird at a sword.
Bird. What about Love Shack?
Yeah, I like that song. Actually,
The Love Shack is a little place. All right.
We can
get together.
Isn't that to be 52s?
Baby Love Shack.
Yeah, its wingspan's only 185 feet across. You know, it's only 159 feet in length.
But that's
Fort
still a
stands
huge
feet tall.
motherfucker. That is a huge motherfucker compared to some fucking planes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. So, Google, how was your week?
Good. Good. Yep.
It's good. It's good. Who done that? Was it Jim Carrey?
I don't know.
It was one of the
it was.
500 comedians. Yep.
Right.
I had to break the silence somehow. You gotta do that sometimes. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Okay. Somebody get on Marquis. I just seen him post something. I'm gonna beat his ass. He's not on the show. Somebody go give him a piece of my mind. Not that you can, because you don't know what's on my mind. But
That can be a very dark place.
oh, it is. It is. Let me tell you.
You mean the post he shared 26 minutes ago?
Well, he's been posting all fucking night during the show. Sorry, my mom was telling me about somebody that's supposed to be on Bellator here in a few minutes. And I was listening to her. It's on Paramount Network if you guys want to see that. It used to be Spike TV, previously TNN, previously 5800 other fucking shows. But anyway.
Hey, Marquis is wondering who doesn't like tomatoes.
He asked that like 2 days ago.
I mean, it's still funny.
Yeah,
If he was on the show, he could ask that question himself.
I know, right?
And he could explain why he asked that.
And then Six can say, well, I don't like tomatoes.
I like tomatoes if they're ripe. I don't like an unripe tomato. I don't care. When I'm going to eat it, I don't like a green tomato.
You don't
or
like
a yellow
no fried green potatoes?
Well, those
What
are
about-
different.
What about orange tomatoes? Or yellow tomatoes?
I like my red tomatoes. I like my red maters. I like my red maters. Who here peels the skin off their tomatoes before they eat them? Anybody?
No, but I used to have to peel the skin off of grapes for my daughter to eat them. She would not eat them
Yeah, I've
unless
heard of that.
I've actually seen people do that, yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of people doing that.
Yeah, she wouldn't eat them unless they were peeled. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? It was just easier not to give her grapes.
Grape for you.
I mean, you know, at some point you gotta be like, yeah.
You
keep peeling these fuckers, or
that's when you should have came down to North Carolina and been like, it's a muscadine. It ain't no grape, it's a muscadine.
Muscadine wine.
You know, oddly enough, I've never even tasted muscadine wine, and I'm in the state that made muscadine wine.
Redneck hillbilly.
Oh,
I
shut your
don't know.
face.
I haven't tasted that. There, don't worry.
I've had
Yeah.
muscadine wine, and I'm from the north. One of
I
them there
just-
Yanks.
I don't know. The thing that I liked most about grapes was when I was growing up, my Granny Pike, she was my grandpa's mom. She would make homemade grapes out of wild grapes that she had in her backyard. And she used one of those big-ass, large motherfucking pickle jars. And it was like the best grape juice I've ever had. I've never found any grape juice like that since. Nobody can make it like her. It was like the best. Like, I miss it, man. Oh, me. All right, we'll go to break. Recoil, are you going to be able to be with us on the other side?
Dear God, I hope so.
All right. We'll go to break. We'll, dear God, hope so that Recoil is with us. We'll have junk that's in the news with Miss Google. Anyway, you're listening to Barracks Talk right here on dvradio.net. Nothing to watch on TV. That's why you're listening to Barracks Talk on dvradio.net, WDVR.
This ain't reality TV! It's all there, black and white, clear as crystal!
It was at this moment that he knew he fucked up.
Well, isn't that special?
Laddie, don't you think you should rephrase that?
Mama said that. My mom.
Good day, sir!
Now class is dismissed, gentlemen.
Let's get it on.
We've got some food bread made for you!
The music.
Let's go!
You're listening to WDVR on dvradio.net. 5 veterans, 4 veterans.
Simply made for you.
You big dummy.
And now, it's time to find out what stupid junk is in the news.
All right, let's get this show on the road. I guess we'll start with the one from South Bend, Indiana. Notre Dame University will cover up Columbus murals for offensive portrayal of Native Americans. Yep, the University of Notre Dame has decided that a lot of these murals are offensive to Native Americans because they tell the truth. You know, everything is offensive these days.
They ask any Native Americans if it was offensive to them?
I don't know. It doesn't say. The school's president said following criticism that the images depict Native Americans in stereotypical submissive poses before white European explorers, that is why they're covering them up. And it's only 12 murals. It's not like 100. But the 12 murals that are being covered up were created in the 1880s and intended to encourage immigrants who had come to the U.S. during a period of anti-Catholic sentiment. So, it's, you know, it's offensive. It's a darker side of the story, a side we must acknowledge.
Well, okay.
Right. Oh, it does say the president of Native American Student Association praised the university's president's action decision. Whatever. Marcus Winchester Jones said, "This is a good step towards acknowledging the full humanity of those Native people who have come before us."
Did you just say Marcus Winchester Jones?
Yes.
Does any of that even sound remotely Native American?
No.
Winchester. I am Winchester, first man to pull trigger in Civil War.
Yeah, right? Notre Dame law student Grant Strobel said the decision was disappointing. He said, "If we adopt the standard of judging previous generations by current standards, we may reach a point where there are no longer accomplishments to celebrate." I agree with that guy.
We lost that like a decade ago.
Yeah, because I was starting to say the for the Fighting Illini there in Champaign, Illinois, they had the chief, you know, as their mascot. It's on all of their, you know, school logo, you know, the whole 9 yards.
Right.
And they took him away, like, I don't know, 5 years ago or some shit like that.
Well, a couple years ago, it was the same with both high schools here. One's the Bears and one's the Greyhounds. And people lost their fucking minds because it's promoting this, that, and the other, and they're the home teams of both county and city. And when they would do like football things, they would like take a Greyhound stuffed toy and rip it apart, and vice versa with the teddy bear and shit. And they were like saying it was promoting animal cruelty and shit. They had a big thing about it there for a little while. I was like, oh my god,
they
They're
didn't
kids.
have live animals.
Sadly,
like they
no.
did a few weeks ago at the college game.
No.
And have their poor bulldogs trampled by
They actually do, at the one for the Greyhounds, they do have a couple of Greyhounds that are the actual living mascots, and they are some beautiful fucking Greyhounds. I mean, purebred, fucking beautiful. Anyway, sorry to take away from your news.
You know, it's funny because I never had this controversy when I was in high school, and I don't think it still exists because because our mascot was the Patriot. You can't say anything bad about that.
I gotta be Marquis. Fuck the Patriots, man. I'm out of here. Fuck this shit.
No,
Fuck this
but
shit.
this was my high school mascot was the Patriot.
Yeah, my middle school one was the Patriot.
I'm waiting for them to get rid of ours because Mars is the Warriors, and it's the same thing. It has a depicted the Indian head on there. So, town of 5,000 people. I'm just waiting for somebody to get butthurt.
Our middle school
remember,
mascot was the Patriot.
Redskins.
Sorry.
They wanted the Redskins to change their name.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm right there with you, Google. My middle school mascot was a Patriot, but it was the old Minuteman portrait that was a mascot. Anyway.
Yep. Anyway, moving right along. Man accused of ejaculating in his boss's coffee every day for 4 years.
Oh, baby.
And this happened where else than Newark, New Jersey. He was arrested on his
That's what happens when your boss asks for more and more cream.
He was arrested on his work site. 38-year-old Lewis Williams spent the last 4 years working as the personal assistant of Miss Linda Moore, who is the executive president of the Danco engineering firm. Among his tasks, as Miss Moore's assistant, he was to take her phone calls, set her schedule, and bring her a cup of coffee to her desk every day when she arrived at work. Oh, man. After a dispute with his boss, Mr. Williams admitted in front of a dozen coworkers that he had ejaculated in her coffee hundreds of times. I think it's kind of hilarious.
Like, is that something people get off on? I mean, really, is that, like, pleasurable for people? Is that some kind of fetish?
I don't know, but I think it's kind of funny, though. I mean... If I was a boss, even if I had a personal assistant, I'd be like, I'll get my own coffee, thank you.
Honestly, the guy better be glad he wasn't HIV positive because he would have been charged with conspiracy to murder. So.
True. After his confession, his colleagues called the police, and Mr. Williams was arrested on the site. A total of 910 criminal charges have been filed against him, including 860 charges of sexual assault. If found guilty on all charges, he could face up to 1,070 years in prison.
Yeah, I find it hilarious. I find the whole thing hilarious. I really...
It was like a story up here in Alaska. It had a guy who choked out his girlfriend and then ejaculated over her and walked away scot-free because here in Alaska, I guess, sperm does not count. It's just like a misdemeanor or some shit. I mean, it was like a slap on the wrist. So that judge that ruled that, I mean, granted his hands were tied, but needless to say, he's not a judge any longer up here.
But
never mind that, attempted murder charge that he should have got for trying to choke her out, but,
What state is it that passed the law if you fart around an officer in public, it's considered assault?
I don't know.
Google talked about that story not long ago. I remember it.
I left one that during the pre-show that I basically assaulted myself with. It's like, God damn, what the fuck was I eating roadkill today?
Me and my mom were talking about which Leonard Skinner song to play. I should have played "Ooh, That Smell."
Can't you smell that smell?
You got a whole week. Then you can play it.
Yeah, that kind of ruins it for the night, though.
Some of his colleagues have told reporters that he was deeply misogynic and found it humiliating to take orders from a woman all day. Some other employees, however, have suggested that Ms. Moore was often aggressive, dominating, and verbally abusive with the accused, and he may have acted as some sort of self-defense.
No, I remember we hit a time when we had a single coffee pot in our office where a lot of people came through, and they would come in our office to get coffee all the time. And the next office over, he had a dual coffee pot, and it was just him. So we kept messing with him, asking him, hey, we need to swap. And he was like, no, I ain't gonna do it. So we took his sugar container and filled it full of salt and mixed it all in. So he kept swearing to God it was the sugar or the coffee pot that made his coffee taste like shit. So he ended up giving us the coffee pot.
That's great.
It was just sugar and salt mix that he was putting in his coffee. That's all it was.
Did I tell you guys what I did to my kid's sperm donor? When we were not getting along, he had actually moved down into the basement. He was constantly getting drunk and shit. So he had a piss bottle downstairs, and he had more than one. But one day,
I know where this is going.
I took the piss bottle and I filled his beer about halfway.
I knew it. I knew it. Fucking knew it.
I know that he drank it, but he didn't like yell at me or anything. So I'm like,
he was probably too drunk to know.
Damn it, Martha, this beer went skunk on me. What the hell?
No joke. I played a really mean trick on my mom one time when I was younger. I used to pull pranks on her all the time. So I got the sugar out, but I didn't let her see me get the salt shaker, and I got a big tablespoon, and I poured all the salt that was in the shaker into the spoon. I said, "Here, Mama, there's this thing," and I forgot what the premise of the joke was, but I was like, "But you got to taste the sugar in order to fill it." And she put the spoon in her mouth and got a big mouthful of salt. And I've never seen my mom so pissed and laughing all at the same time in my time. She was pissed. But she went, "You mother, I'm going to beat you." And then she was laughing at the same time. So I was like, I'm going to die while my mom's laughing at me because she's going to beat me to death.
A teaspoon of sugar helps the medicine. No, I don't. I want salt.
That's so crazy. All right.
Would that be considered assault?
Oh man. All right. So, have you guys ever heard of dwarf tossing?
Yes.
Yes. And it is badass and funny as hell.
Well, a Senate bill would ban dwarf tossing at bars in Washington State.
Fuck Washington State.
Dwarf tossing contests.
If they're consenting dwarves, why not?
Exactly.
Wow.
And most of them probably are, seeing as how you can get paid to do that in some company. I forgot what company it is, but it's like an escort, except midget tossing.
Right. Well, dwarf tossing contests would be banned in Washington State under a bill sponsored by State Senator Mike Patton. Senate Bill 5846 would ban it at bars and strip clubs and end the activity, which Patton says demeans and exploits those of smaller stature.
Who are perfectly willing and getting paid well.
The bill would also ban other recreational activity that endangers the health, safety, and welfare of any person with dwarfism. Patton said he became interested when someone made him aware of a dwarf tossing contest last October at a strip club in Spokane Valley. There's nothing funny about dwarf tossing, Patton said. People who are advocates for little people note that persons with dwarfism are particularly susceptible to spine and neck injuries.
Okay, so that's bullshit because these companies, the professional companies that do it, actually go through like protocols with people that will be doing it and stuff. And they have basically quote unquote coordinators for this that are actually at these parties. And these people get paid good fucking money. Like you get charged like $1,500 for like a couple of hours. So imagine how much that dwarf is probably making in a week.
Oh yeah. Well, Patton added to his previous statement, it ridicules and demeans people with dwarfism and causes others to think of them as objects of public amusement. Even when participants are willing, it exposes them to the possibility of lifetime spinal injury. Dwarf tossing is an offense to our sensibilities, and the legislation applies to contests and promotions involving adults shorter than 4 feet 10 inches in height.
So I guess we need to ban all sports of any kind as well, because
right?
they could all lead to lifelong injuries.
So what happens if that happens in the bedroom and it's your wife and she's under 4'10"? Is that still? I mean,
I was about to ask that because that's my case, but I was
my
about
wife
to.
is 4'9", so yes, I know.
I was going to say to what Recoil said. He mentioned sports. What about porn? It shows people as objects being used. I mean, and that's really dangerous. I've heard some porn stars talk about injuries that they and their partner have sustained, like shooting a movie. Wait for it, because I didn't have the soundboard up. Hold up. Got to get that rim shot in there.
Pew, pew,
All
Got
right.
a rim shot and everything. Sorry.
Moving right along. If you like KFC's gravy, and particularly the way it smells, you're in luck because KFC launched limited edition gravy scented candles. The fast food chain that brought you fried chicken scented fire logs has announced the newest addition to its lineup of merchandise. Right now, there are just 230 limited edition candles available on a first come, first served basis. Bad news, the candle is only available in the UK. So if you know someone in England, ask them to send you a KFC gravy scented candle.
130 of them, they were already gone by the time that article was printed.
Yep, guarantee it.
Oh man. I'm like, this is crazy. It's crazy.
I was about to say, is that all? I know it's not all.
No, I'm almost done. Uber's investigations unit stressed out over too much work. There you go. They have too much work. This investigation unit has so much work that all the employees are stressed out. Working for Uber is driving employees crazy, according to a new report. Members of the app company's Special Investigations Unit are teetering on the edge of sanity thanks to a colossal workload and mounds of stress from dealing with high-profile incidents such as driver crashes and sexual assaults. The issue of untreated depression because of massive caseload and the concern that an investigator must acknowledge that they are not coping well is not only real, but increasing. A 26-page memo that was circulated said, a single suicide by an Uber investigator who posts that they could not take the job demands any longer will be fodder for the national, if not international, news media. There are 75 members the 75 member investigations team composed largely of 20 to 30 somethings with, I love how they put that, 20 to 30 somethings. Jeez. With some coming from service industry gigs such as Chipotle and Starbucks is scrambling to close 1,200 cases every week as ever-growing Uber seeks to grow its global footprint. Maybe if they did better background checks, there wouldn't be as many sexual assaults, and then they would only have to worry about driver crashes.
Well, on top of that, these people that are doing the investigations probably came out of, like, the fast food industry and have no idea of what work and stress really is.
Right. So far, 6 team members have suffered profound stress requiring clinical care. Meanwhile, New York City yellow taxi drivers are killing themselves over Uber gobbling up their Big Apple market share. So we have real people that have lost their jobs that are committing suicide, and we have real people who are too stressed to perform their job duty for a company that took over, basically. Real cab drivers.
I want to know, is it really the job that's getting to them, or is that just an excuse? You know what I mean?
I don't know. I mean, if they're working on 1,200 cases a week of sexual assaults and driver incidents or driver crashes, I mean, that's kind of a lot. But
Think about any cab company, though. Think about all the other cab companies. They're probably doing just as much, if not more.
Yep, I agree. Brooke Anderson, he or she is the Uber head of safety communication, said, "We have been putting safety at the heart of everything we do. Uber will continue to focus on safety in 2019, including through the release of an accurate transparency report." If they had been putting safety at the heart of everything they did, then sexual assaults would not have been happening.
Well, reports of a sexual assault versus actual sexual assaults.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
I could report a sexual assault every day for a different company. Doesn't mean it's real. So.
Let's see. All right. So there is a brand new Kickstarter out there. You know how people these days constantly are looking down at their cell phone and they don't even want to put it down when they're sitting at the dinner table? Well,
Sorry, I didn't hear you. I was looking at my phone.
Well, this Kickstarter invention turned your phone into a fork or spoon. It is actually a cell phone case with a spoon and a fork attachment. So you'll never have to put your phone down ever again. All you have to do is add the attachment to your phone case and you're golden.
Thanks, millennials, for ruining life.
I know. I'm like, this is just a huge waste of money. They have lots of pictures on this website of how this would work. I'm still not quite sure because they're not really, I mean, the utensils don't seem very big.
They don't
really,
seem fucking feasible either.
I know. I put the link in in the chat box, so all of our current listeners who are listening live can take a look. And I'm like, these little things are really tiny.
Not only that, they stay attached to your fucking phone while you eat.
Right. Well, that's the whole point.
I know. It's not fucking feasible for an actual person who has a fucking sense of mind to eat and fucking be on their phone. That's what I'm saying.
Well, but that's what the brilliance is, because people don't want to put their phone down. That is why you get this special case.
That's why you have two fucking hands.
And attach the spoon or fork so that way when you're eating a bowl of soup in your hand, you don't have to. You'll hold the soup bowl with one hand, and you don't have to put your phone down.
You know what I'm doing right now? You know what I'm doing right now? I'm running the show. I'm eating macaroni and cheese bowl. I've got toast, and I'm reading fucking chat while speaking. Motherfuckers, learn to fucking multitask. And I'm disabled, so go suck a cock.
Oh, man.
I can't do it. It's too hard. Bitch, fucking suck it up, buttercup.
Oh, I know, right? It's crazy. No, Shelly, no pocket knives. Those were voted down, I guess.
We can't MacGyver this because, you know, that was cool.
Oh, man, I swear. And that is all the news we have for this evening.
Did you talk about the condoms?
When did you drop that article?
Like yesterday? Day before yesterday?
Like today, you mean?
About the guy ejaculating in his boss's coffee.
No.
No, I did that one.
Pretty sure it was before that.
No. Pretty sure it was today. Because I had 2 notifications pop up on my phone. Today.
Well, either way.
Well, it will have to wait until next week. I always got yelled at for dropping articles the day of, and I was going to drop 2 articles today, and I did not. I said, nope, Bo will yell at me. I'm not going to drop these.
I don't yell at you. I yell at you when you do it at 8 and 9 o'clock and during the show.
Well,
I actually did drop one today, which I don't normally do, but this one, couple hospitalized after man gets his head stuck in his wife's vagina. Well, we'll share that one with you next week.
So look forward to a man's head stuck in his wife's vagina and condoms that detect STDs while you're inside a vagina or asshole. Apparently.
Oh, man. I swear, you know what? I did look at the story, so I was like, that's pretty fucking hilarious.
Right?
This dude should have put one of those condoms on his head.
I was just thinking that.
It could be a unicorn.
Oh, man. That's great. I'll try, you know what? I'll try this week to find some other articles along that
realm.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening tonight. Let us know what you thought about the Connecting Vets article when we post this podcast. For those that weren't here live, you will hear a dumbed-down version, so you'll have to go actually listen to it on the Connecting Vets link that's down in the description below. Please go check out DVRthoughts.com for those that's listening live tonight. I'm going to cut all the DVR thoughts out of the podcast, so get it now, right now. Go do it right now. Let us know what you think. Smile.amazon.com, McDV Farm, your charity of choice. A portion of it goes to the DV Farm, no hidden fees or extra costs, and it all goes, again, to the, DV Farm. That's smile.amazon.com, McDV Farm, your charity of choice. MyDVStore.com for the winter survival bags for the homeless. Recoil. If they don't want to see all the bullshit that happens on social media and they want to stay away from their family and friends, where can they go?
They can head over to our forum at dvbarracks.com. That's our DV forum. It's a place for only DVs. Once you get over there, you can create an account using either your Facebook or you can use your email and create an account. Once you have an account created, you can go to the top right-hand corner of the screen, click on your profile. You can change your picture to any picture you want to use, change your name to any call sign that you want to use, and you're free to use the forum in anonymity. It's pretty awesome. It's all your typical DV fuckery that you would expect. But then there's also my personal favorite section, which is the peer support section. And that is brothers and sisters like you and me looking out for brothers and sisters like you and me. So if you haven't already, head over to dvbarracks.com. One last time, that's dvbarracks.com.
Go right over to the DV forum at dvbarracks.com and sign up and be anonymous right now. Let us know what you think in the forum below. Anyway, also, we have UboraCoffee.com. Go over there for the DV Radio Blend Coffee. That is Battlegrounds. A portion of Battlegrounds bag will come straight here to DV Radio, but only if you purchase the Battlegrounds bag of coffee. I know a lot of you told me that you love the blend, and hopefully we can get those 5 pounds of coffee up on the store for you, but there's no guarantees. We are in the midst of working out some stuff right now to try and do that. YouTube, Dysfunctional Veterans, DV Radio. Twitter, at @DV_DV Radio. Also, Facebook, Dysfunctional Veterans, DV Radio. Like, share the pages, and keep up to date with all of the stupid bullshit that we put out to you. Google, any last words for our people tonight?
I don't think so.
Hurry, my mac and cheese is getting cold. Oink!
Hey, you all in the lower 48, stay warm. We're having a heat wave up here.
Sorry.
Sorry, had to rub that one in.
Recoil.
Is it 27 pounds of mac and cheese?
No, it is a 2.05 ounce cup from Kraft Macaroni and Cheese Dinner. The taste you love. No artificial preservatives, no artificial flavors, and no artificial dyes.
Right, just a shitload of sodium.
Right. Dude, I love these little microwavable cups. You pour water in the noodles, you microwave it, you pour your powdered cheese in, you stir it up, and it's so fucking good. Anyway, go ahead, Recoil.
As always, be safe and keep looking out for each other, fuckers.
That's right. Google, you'll have to wait until next week for that little last bit that you sent in chat. For all of us here at DV
I'm
Radio.
glad that global warming is working out for you.
For all,
hey, somebody's got to benefit from it, right?
Right. For all of us here at DV Radio and Barracks Talk, we are going away for the night. Anyway, for DV6, Recoil, Oink, Google, and Marquis, who wasn't here. I was going to say Marquis first, but I didn't. Thank you for joining us right here on Barracks Talk on January 26, 2019. Until next week, butt sickles. Bye-bye.
Hit us up on Facebook and Twitter.
That's all, folks. Goodbye, motherfucker!
DV Radio.
We're clear. I think I'm going to hop off here tonight.